John Heilemann of New York Magazine is got some reporting on the Obama White House and what's going on there. And he's reporting that Obama and Geithner, according to David Axelrod, have a man crush on each other. Okay, sorry. He explains that Geithner quickly became Obama's confidant through a combination of his moderate political leanings and a hesitancy to enforce sweeping, broad changes to the financial system. Peas in a pod. Peas in a pod. Here is a quote from Heilemann's piece. Whatever the effects of the bill, among them will be, this is the financial reform bill, among them will be neither an end to the too big to fail doctrine, nor any curb on what the sharpest Wall Streeters see as the central threat to the system's stability, excessive financial leverage. That's exactly right. Geithner, Summers, and Obama had little interest in tackling those matters, not because they're indentured servants to Wall Street, but because at heart they are all technocrats who believe the system doesn't need to be rebooted or downsized, merely better supervised. This is exactly what we've been telling you. They think, no, the structure is fine. We just had a little blip, and we'll just manage it better than Bush did, and everything will be just fine. No, the problem is excessive leverage. They took the brakes off in 2004 and let them lever as much as they wanted. In 1999, when they passed the bill on derivatives, they let them go off book, which means that you don't even have to report how much you're leveraged. No, you're misunderstanding the problem. This isn't something you can tweak. And if Obama thinks Geithner's the genius who's got this thing figured out and he's got a man crush on him because he's hesitant to do a real reform of Wall Street, we're all screwed. That means, one, Obama doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, and two, look, it's a problem of his nature. He doesn't, I mean, that was the central lie of his campaign. He doesn't want to do real change. Under no circumstances does Obama want to do real change. He wants to do a little tiny change. Geithner loves to sprinkle in a tiny bit of change and say, hey, did we fix it? And Obama's like, oh, I love you, man. Oh, I love that kind of incremental change. Oh, I got such a man crush on you. Rahm Emanuel's the same way. He's chief of staff. They're the kings of pocket change. So he loves Rahm Emanuel. He loves Tim Geithner. We're all hosed. Now, meanwhile, Jonathan Alter, for a book he wrote about Obama, has very similar stories confirming exactly what we've been telling you. Larry Summers is a bully. He doesn't say this, but as you read it, it seems the analogy jumps out at you. He's like the Don Rumsfeld of the Obama administration. If anyone dares disagree, he yells at them, shouts them down, belittles them, and in fact, literally excludes them from the meetings. One of the guys that got excluded from the meetings was Paul Volcker, the only guy giving Obama the right advice. Now get a load of this, man. Paul Volcker, back in the day, was thought to be like a ruthless Reaganite. Man, he was so right-wing. Now he's become the populist. He's the most left-wing. They don't even let him in the room. So finally, after Obama realized, oh, you know what? It's funny how Volcker kept getting excluded from all the meetings by Geithner, Summers, and Emanuel. He listened to him, and then finally they decided to go with the Volcker rule, but it turns out, of course, they were joking. They didn't actually push for the Volcker rule, and it's not actually in the bill. The Volcker rule would have separated out their own trading, that they can take any damn bet that they'd like to do with money that's backed up by the American taxpayers. Now that will not be separated, so our money's on the line because Geithner and Summers won. These are the financial neocons of this administration. And the one final thing that is very disturbing is, as someone else told me, and now confirmed by this account too, it appears that Obama simply does not understand the details. Our assumption has always been Obama's really bright, Obama's really smart, so he must know what's going on. No, look, you can be really smart at some things and not so bright at other things. I couldn't do physics if my life depended on it. If you just saw me in the context of physics, you said that is one of the dumbest guys in the country. Okay? So Obama could be great with politics and history, et cetera, and just not get financial reform. In the meetings, apparently, when they finally brought in the opposition, they brought in Stiglitz and Krugman, et cetera, to get a different opinion in the room. By the way, you get a load of how that worked, too. It's so Machiavellian. It's so neocon. First of all, they brought in some liberals to actually make a case for what we should do. But in order to balance them out, they brought in conservatives so that Obama will hear both sides and get confused and not know what to do, okay? And then they weren't even going to bring in Stiglitz, the guy who had the right idea from the beginning. In the morning, they were like, it'll look bad if we don't. Okay, invite him in the morning, hope he can't show up to Washington in time from New York. That's how these guys operate. And once inside the room, here's a quote: Obama grew slightly impatient when the conversation grew too technical or backward-looking. In other words, he didn't get the technical stuff. And he's like, what do you want me to do, okay? I don't get this stuff. And backward-looking is, you want me to fix it. No, don't worry about what happened in the past. Just tell me what I should do now, right? And so if you simplify it like that, Krugman and Stiglitz said what Volcker said, which is, hey, you know what? These banks are all bankrupt. You need to, if you're going to put money into it, you should make sure the taxpayer gets paid back. So you need to take over the banks. I mean, that, of course, does damage in the short run, but it prevents much bigger damage in the long run. Obama's like, damage in the short run. I don't like that. I'm a politician. I don't get all this mumbo-jumbo stuff you're telling me. And no. I'm going to go with Geithner and Summers. They're very soothing. They say everything's going to be all right, that it's a temporary blip. No, you guys you're free to go. Get out. They told Volcker so late, he showed up for dessert. Too late. Look, I'm not calling Obama stupid. I think that's a crazy thing to say. Like I said, you can have a blind spot. Michael Hirsch came on the show here from Newsweek, said the same thing. He's got a blind spot for finance. He doesn't get it. Boy, could there be a worse topic not to get in the midst of this storm. We're in a lot of trouble. We really are. I wish we weren't, but we are.